Now, I wanted to start today with this thought. As we wait for the biased Judge Engoron in New York to make his decision on how much money Donald Trump may owe for a fine in a New York fraud case where nobody was defrauded, not a single penny is missing anywhere, and the judge could still face, Trump could still face $370 million in fines. We'll see where that goes. It's all part of the attempt to keep Trump from power and prevent the will of the people from choosing, quote, the wrong candidate. As our government has made so clear to us, Donald Trump is the wrong candidate, you see. And if they can't put him in jail, which they're still trying to do, they will cripple him financially, probably both, even if there is no crime there at all. But unfortunately for our government, unfortunately for us, we do not yet live in a monarchy or a totalitarian state. More and more people waking up finally as the deep state becomes overt, right out in the open, with its attempts to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. And after all this, it seems like, well, like the world is changing rapidly, doesn't it? I've outlined all of the trends that are going on in the wrong direction. But there is some hope because, as I said, a lot of people are waking up finally to the true reality here in this country. Are we facing a Yorktown moment? Let me explain what I mean by that question. You see, after the Battle of Yorktown was won by the Continental Army in the Revolutionary War, the story goes that during the surrender, the British played a tune called "The World Turned Upside Down." The symbolism, of course, obvious. An upstart collection of colonies with farmers and ranch hands had just beaten the world's foremost superpower, and it was beginning to look like the British rule was over here and around the world, and it was. Thus, the world turned upside down. I think we may be facing the modern-day equivalent of that today. The deep state losing its grip on power. We would never see them go after Trump this hard if they were in complete control, now would we? You see, they know the end is coming for them. And in order to delay the inevitable, they need to do increasingly crazier things to stay in power. And by doing that, they wake up more and more people to the true nature of what's happening in Washington. Much like Fani Willis showing up yesterday, people are waking up to the fact that everything is on backwards. In case you missed it, by the way. Fanny's so angry and focused on destroying Trump, she stormed into the courtroom in Georgia with her dress on backwards. See it right here, the zipper's out front. Or maybe she just had a late walk of shame and got frazzled, who knows, with that testimony. In fact, the Fani Willis testimony yesterday is another thing that is bound to wake up thousands more to see that these people are going after Trump and hopelessly corrupt they are. One of the main themes to come out of yesterday's testimony was that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, her lover, despite statements to the contrary in court, were in a relationship before Willis hired Nathan Wade onto the Trump indictment team, for which he was woefully unqualified. As a former Fulton County DA employee, also testified to the fact that this had been going on for a while. Listen.
And do you understand it, that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
Yes. Uh-oh. Not a good moment for Fani Willis. Yes, I call her Fanny. As the day unfolded, she knew it. And although she wasn't supposed to be watching what transpired, it sure seemed that she had been watching. As she entered the courtroom completely unexpected and unannounced, and then proceeded to take the stand and say things, well, things like this.
I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4. Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
You never wrote him a check?
Ma'am, I don't have checks.
Okay. So you have no proof of any reimbursement for any of these things because it was all cash, right?
The testimony of one witness is enough to prove a fact.
So my question was, do you have any proof?
Is that what you're intimating right here?
I'm asking if you have any proof that you paid him any of these
The
monies.
proof is what I just told you.
Proof? I just told you. If I tell you it's true, it's true. That's proof. She apparently only paid back Nathan Wade in cash, you see, so conveniently there's no paper trail, no receipt, no anything. And you'll just have to trust her on that. That's proof enough. She also claims she doesn't know basic policies and rules of her own office or what's in her contract to work for Fulton County. You'd think that's something the DA would know, right? Not in her case. Here's more.
Are you aware that Fulton County requires you to disclose any relationship with someone that you're doing business with?
I'm not aware, and I know often that things are confused with state constitutional officers in county, but I'm not aware.
She just wasn't aware that she was supposed to disclose a relationship. That's the rule. You have to disclose a relationship with another member of your team. She just doesn't understand that. Right. It's pretty damn obvious that Fani Willis is corrupt and was so arrogant she thought she could get away with that and anything else. She also thought taking the stand would save her, but it looks more like it's going to be her undoing. And in that way, she's like our current government and the deep state. The more they try to stop Trump from running, the more backwards they are, the more overt things they do, just like Fani did yesterday. And the more they will cause the thing they're trying to stop to actually happen. We call this self-fulfilling prophecy, of course. In Fani's case, it's being dismissed from her Trump prosecution, and maybe worse, in the deep state's case, it's actually causing Trump to get elected president again. All of this strange behavior causes people to go, hey, what are they up to over there? And you don't have to take my word for it. Even the leftist media is in full-blown panic right now. Here's some evidence of that. Listen.
This is epic. This is monumental. If things are going in the direction we think, Fani Willis lied to the court, it's game over for her. She will be disqualified. If they had a relationship prior to when they represented to the court, it's a huge deal. I can't overstate it.
Speaking of the national news media, they are facing a world turned upside down moment, too, because they have led the way in trying to defend Joe Biden and all the co-conspirators inside Washington for years, and have repeatedly tried to sell the idea that somehow Donald Trump was wrong, or worse, deranged, for calling them out for what they were doing with these crazy little pesky things called facts. And he did it over and over again. That might be the biggest disappointment for me over the past several years. You've heard me say it before, and that is the absolute failure of the media to do its damn job, even a little bit. Come on. I've done this since the 90s. You give the facts, you let the people decide. It's really that simple. They're incapable of that. Giving facts? No. Joe Biden's fine. Oh, he's hiding in his basement? No big deal.